vacation, so I said, let me check in and see what y'all got going on. I'm in my little vacation spot. I call it my fake Airbnb, my getaway. Let me show y'all what my surroundings look like. So that's my good spot, my quiet spot, my good place. And there's usually a little woodpecker that come out and be picking up on everything. How y'all doing anyway? If y'all ain't subscribed, subscribe. If y'all want to follow, follow. Hey, honey. Hey, Calvin. About that money. Calvin, about that money. So, anyway, now my question today is to be single or not? To be single or not? That's my question for today. You be missing me? I, man, I'm so far removed from myself right now. I about miss myself too. But I was looking at this lady post a little while ago, and she was talking about she been married for like 7 years. And hey Anthony, she was married for like 7 years, and she don't know if she did the right thing because there's nothing wrong with her husband, but just the idea of now having to share and having to um, kind of meet him where he's at. Like she's like she don't want to. You better single for now. Channel Network. That's what's up. But yeah, so that's what she was saying. She was like, she be want to go out of town. She be want to do things, and I guess with a mate, she can't do everything that she wants to do. And I was looking at my life. Hey, Vonda, baby. I was looking at my life, and I'm able to move as I please, go and come as I want to go and come. But as I'm getting older, it's like, do you really want that type of life? I think I would rather, um, because you only move so much. You only do so many things in a time span. So would I rather be controlled, and not really controlled, but it's like a form of control. It's not always a bad thing. Hey, chili chills. It's not always a bad thing, but I think I have gotten to that point in life where I do want to be governed. I do want to not per se have to answer to someone, but I kind of want to answer to somebody. I want to not go places and make memories on my own because I'm so used to traveling by myself. Vonda's on here, and she always gets at me when she see me going. John, don't cuss like that, baby. Just ask me what I'm talking about, baby. I'm saying, is it good to be single or not? To be single or not? You don't gotta cuss me now. No, don't do that. Is it good to be single or not? But anyway, so I go places and do things by myself, and Vonda always hit me up. She's like, Nora, you went by yourself again? So I used to travel a lot of places by myself. Like I went on an 8-day cruise alone, but that was kind of secure because you get on and get off, and people kind of watching you. Um, it's great to be single. Hey, Ben, you Ben, Ben, you Ben, Benny Ben. But yeah, but what happens when you get to that point in life, channel network, where you want to share your experiences? You have um, desires and things, and not you don't want to just be giving your body to anybody or actually doing, you know, by yourself. No, I kind of want to share so many things, the intimate parts of my life, the memories that I make. And before, I think I was so busy raising my children that I never had time to stop and look, to actually pull in somebody, a significant other. Now I've dated, but nothing that I want to keep and be like, I want to spend the rest of my life. Um, well, just up until recently, I think I found somebody that I would love to spend the rest of my life, but I don't think he's there. So, That's that. But yeah, so to be single, pull you in, Calvin. To be single or not. Big old, I'm doing good, baby. I'm doing good. I just had the question, like, for all your married and single people, what's the preference and why? What's the benefits of being married? What is the benefits of being single? Not people look like STDs. Let me tell you something about that channel network. That is so true. So I have a friend girl. Well, she ain't my friend no more. She stopped being my friend. I got something for her to eat. But I have a friend girl who's HIV positive. And no, I didn't outgrow her. Watch, let me tell you what happened. So she is messing with a married man. And she knows she's HIV positive. But she's messing with a married man, so she's been messing with him for years. So earlier in the relationship, I asked her, I said, do you, hold on, Abanda, if I may ask, what makes you think your friend does not want to be married or even partner? Because we can love somebody and be committed to that person and not be married. Abanda, that is true, but hold that thought. But the girl has HIV. She's been messing with a married man for some time now. Well, so when I found out she was messing with him, I asked her, did she use protection? Me and her friends, so to me, friends kind of should hold each other accountable. So she told me yes, and I asked her, did he know her status? And she said no. Time went on, years went on. She got rushed to the hospital because her appendix ruptured. So she thought. Her appendix ruptured. I know that's so nasty, but y'all, sunflower seeds. But her appendix ruptured. So she was in the hospital. She thought her appendix ruptured. Lo and behold, she found out she had a miscarriage. So now the question comes up again. I asked her, since she had a miscarriage, now my question is, I thought y'all was using protection. So she said, oh, we were, but I guess he didn't use it, or I told him to use protection. And I said, well, you think now is a good time to tell him your status? And she said, no, he should have used protection. I mean, this girl been forever friends, okay? She said, no, he should have used protection. So I said, well, you were there too. And you knew he didn't use protection. Maybe you should have, not went on with the act. So then I asked her again. I said, well, what about his wife? You think his wife need to know? And she said, that's on him. So I asked her, I said, well, what the wife did to deserve it? Because he cheated on his wife, but what did the wife do to deserve him bringing her something home? Y'all, this conversation came because Channel Network said that they're single and they don't know. Oh, people just look like walking STDs now. So the funny thing is, you don't even know who got STDs no more. You don't know who's HIV positive. You don't know nothing. People look so healthy and so good, and people lie and they don't even tell you the truth. And don't get me wrong, you can do my chart, universal precaution, things of sort, but people don't always tell the truth. Anyway, so Watson, I'm doing good, girl. I'm in Florida. And if I tell you, this sun beating the hell out of me, I ain't even in the sun. I'm on the porch, you see it? But anyway, so let me tell y'all why she ain't my friend no more, because I said I had a friend. I know that's crazy. So anyway, so I asked her about it. So time went on, because I asked her and I left it alone but to me, character is everything. I don't care how long we've been friends. Character is everything. Who are they that they're not special enough, or they're not of good, something that needs to be respected. Why do you feel it's okay to do that to them? So when I see people not a good character, I kind of, I got to pay that some attention. But anyway, so time went on, and I noticed she wasn't calling me as much. I would call her, and I asked her, could we go to lunch? Then one day, like I think for my 50th birthday, I wanted to take like a friendship, my friends have been friends with me since high school. I wanted to do like a group photo shoot, and that never happened. So one day I just asked her, I'm like, hey, upstate New York. Oh. But so I just asked her one day, I said, hey, you don't call me no more. I said, I asked you to do a couple of things. And I said, is there something wrong? So now I want to get to the bottom, because we've been friends for so long that I want to get to the bottom of it. She told me there wasn't nothing wrong. Got to the point where she didn't even call. She didn't answer the phone no more. So I was talking to a mutual friend of ours. And I said, I think homegirl mad at me. But I don't know why. Yeah, I forgot about the whole HIV thing. Like, I totally forgot. Because I asked her, she didn't think it was necessary to let him know. So I said, oh, well, I didn't hound her about it. She got to deal with God. Um, um, thank you guys. But she got to deal with God. So anyway, I heard through the grapevine, and you shouldn't really listen to the grapevine. Asia, it's this girl who used to be my friend who got HIV. So the start of this conversation was, is it best to be single or not? Single or not? Single or not? And because I was listening to somebody else's Facebook reel where they was talking about how they probably made the wrong decision by getting married, because they have to now share their life with somebody, and they don't think they were ready to do that. So that's where this came from. And then Network said he think he'd rather be single because people looking like STDs. So that's kind of to catch you up. So anyway, so I heard through the grapevine that the young lady said that she and I were no longer friends because I act like a goody two shoes, like I never done anything wrong, like I've never messed with a married man. So I looked, and my hairdresser told me this. That's why I don't be going to the hairdresser, because they always got some gossip. But my hairdresser said the reason the other young lady said we weren't friends no more because I judged her about messing with a married man. That's not what I did, y'all. I didn't judge her about messing with a married man. I asked her to let that married man know, let that married man know of her status. So she ain't my friend no more. But I get you when you say people look like walking STDs, because you never know anymore, because people aren't honest. People don't want to tell you. People give you stuff. And she was already upset because she was a good girl. She wasn't promiscuous. She wasn't that type of chick. A young man gave her HIV on purpose. He gave her HIV. He she liked him, but he was dating another girl. But he was pursuing her as well, and ended up he liked her, and they started having a romantic thing, and he ended up leaving the other girl. But then when he got with my friend girl, he would date her. I mean, he moved in with her, but he started beating her. So when she got tired of being beat, she left him. But when she left him, and she's had this, my daughter is 27, so she had this over 27 years. But, and she looks really good. You never know just by looking at her. But I don't even think you would know if you actually do like the regular HIV test, because she takes all her medications and stuff. And they say you can't pass it as much. This ain't no HIV conversation, but for whatever reason, when he gave it to her and she broke up with him because he would beat her so much, when she broke up with him, he told her, nobody's going to want you because you're HIV positive. So she didn't believe him. So she was dating him like 3 years, and he had never told her that he had given her HIV, and he did it on purpose. So what makes me know that he gave it to her is because she stopped listening to him. Hey, Norman. She stopped listening to him, but she came. He called me because, after you don't get no, she wasn't fueling his fire. So he called the next in line, the friend next in line, and said, "Oh, your friend HIV positive." I'm like, "You just mad because she broke up with you?" He was like, "No, she's HIV positive. I gave her HIV, this, that, and the other. Ain't nobody else gonna want her." So it kind of put like a dark something in her spirit. But I would think that that dark something would have you not do anyone else like you've done, like someone done you. That was my mind frame. That's the way I think about it. Vonna said, "Nora, you made her look at herself. You made her look at the woman in the mirror, and she saw her real self. She saw her soul. She doesn't know how to come back from it." And I believe that. Calvin, thank you. But I believe that. I really do. I really believe that. And a lot of people say, I don't, um, yeah, he was grimy for that channel network, but being he had done it to her, I would think, me myself, if ever something happened like that to me where I contracted HIV and with such a malicious, such a malicious way, it ain't like he didn't know. He purposely infected her. Like he purposely withheld the information so she could contract HIV. And I don't think that I would be so angry that I do it to others. I can't speak for it right now because I ain't in them, I'm not in that predicament. But I just, in my heart of hearts, I don't think I could do that to somebody else. That's like murder. That's like taking somebody's life. That's like taking somebody's joy. And don't get me wrong, there's life after HIV, but to get to the life after, you have to go through that depression. You have to go through whatever people go through when they find out they have a terminal illness. You know what I mean? So I don't think I would have done that. I know I wouldn't have done that. So just to ask her, I guess, like Vonda said, it made her look in the mirror. But so yeah, everybody do kind of look like you ought to treat everybody like walking STDs. Yeah. And he died. He died for a long time. You could even say his name around her. Like even people with names like his, she didn't want to. She wouldn't. Mm-mm. And I hurt for her. Like I literally hurt for her. Everything she had to go through, and actually the denial, the acceptance, the anger, the depression, everything. South Florida. What part of South Florida are you from? Um, Black Jesus. Now let me tell you. So she didn't want to file charges because she didn't want people to know she had HIV. And let me tell you how I know that part. Because she never told me she had it. He Coral Springs in the house. Okay, I'm from Fort Myers. But she never told me she had it. One day she was at the hospital and she had real bad hemorrhoids. So she told us she was in the hospital for her hemorrhoids. And I happened to come in the room, and I'm a CNA, so I heard a lot of different terminologies and doctors things. I'm not a nurse, but certified nursing assistant, but I worked in the hospital field for like 24 years. So things people talk about, I can kind of understand and relate to them because I heard them before working in the hospital. So I was in the hospital. I was at her bedside, and she was laying up. She was on a clear liquid diet. Um, well, she could eat Jello, but it was just like she had to eat like liquid stuff or stuff that break down to liquid form. So when she passed her stools, it wouldn't hurt her because of her hemorrhoids. So what you say? So she was. We were in her hospital room, and the nurse came in, and the nurse said, "Ma'am, we're gonna have to move you closer to the nurse's station because she hadn't gotten so sick that her T cell count was so low, but they wanted to be able to keep an eye on her, and she was so far down the hallway that they said they were going to move her up closer to the nurse's station to like one of the rooms that they keep an eye on people, I guess. So, like I said, she had mentioned that her T cell count was low. So my friend got irate. Like, she was so mad. And she started cussing the lady out, talking about she wanted to leave and this, that. But her attitude from the time before that lady came in till the time the lady left, it went from like 0 to 100. So I knew why it went, because the lady hadn't said her T cell count was low. She told us she was in there for hemorrhoids. So when I left out, because I could see how mad she was, I left out the room and I went to the nurse, and I told the nurse, I said, look, that's my best friend, and she has never told me that she was HIV positive. So I would ask that you not tell her business. I said, and I know you didn't say she was HIV, but you said her T cell count was low. And being is already rumored that she's HIV positive, I ask that you don't do that in front of anyone else. That's what I asked the nurse. I pulled the nurse to the side by herself. Never told my friend I did it, right? That nurse said, oh, well, she's going through denial and this, that, and other, and she got to go through this stage, and just start talking, like basically telling the girl business. So if you know, that's like against HIPAA law. And it was a black nurse, so I guess she felt like we had a black bond or something, but we didn't have a black bond. You don't tell my friend business. So later on down the years, a couple years later, I was talking to her, and she came out and told me she was HIV positive. I think it took her like 10 years to tell me, even though he had already told me. So years later, she came out and told me she was HIV positive, and I told her I had already known, because I reminded her about that time she was in the hospital, and I told her I went and spoke to the nurse, and I asked the nurse not to talk in front of her. And I said, I started to tell you earlier, but I didn't want to tell you because I didn't, I wanted you to tell me your secret. I didn't want to tell you your secret. I didn't want to accuse her of having HIV just because somebody told me. But she was so mad at that lady, and she knew who the nurse was. But yeah, the nurse was way out of line. She knew who the nurse was, but she didn't want to press charges on the nurse or sue the hospital, because she didn't want people to know. So it would out her for having HIV. Yeah, so that's probably why she never sent him to jail. But I could tell you, on everything I love, if somebody intentionally do something to harm me, they going down. They going to jail, if not hell first. They going somewhere. But that don't make me in return turn around and hurt somebody. Yeah. But she didn't sue though, and I don't even think it was the statute of limitations was over. And y'all know, I would have told on that lady, because she was wrong. She was real wrong. But no, so anyway, back to being single or not to be single. To be single or not to be single. Sad. Dude need his behind whoop. Yeah, he do, but okay. So we saying old boy need his behind whoop, right? The dude who gave it to her. But then in turn, she turns around. And not saying she gave old married dude nothing, because nowadays they got these medications and stuff that makes it harder to contract HIV. So if she's taking the right medications, it's hard to give it. I don't know. So I can't say she did something to that man, but just anything you want. But just the ideal of, I'm sorry, y'all, I got a text and it threw me off. You willing to put somebody else in harm's way. So to me, it's real. So I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Not too long ago, I lost my dad, my stepdad, not my real dad, but my stepdad been my dad for a while. And once I found out, like I said, when I asked her, are you going to let old boy know that you HIV positive? And then with the whole attitude and stuff that she gave me, it was like, we can't be friends. Because for one, you went and told a hairdresser that I messed with a married man. And I did mess with a married man before, but you act like that's why I was asking you about mess with that man. You didn't tell that hairdresser that you HIV positive. You didn't tell her that. So you tried to out me like, oh, Nora done messed with a married man before. Okay, I did. I mean, that ain't something I'm proud of, and that ain't nothing I continue to do. But so right then I knew, okay, our friendship is scarred because I never told anybody about what I asked her. I asked her to herself. I just asked her, you know. But I never told anybody. So right then I knew our friendship was like beyond fixing because for one, what you just did told the hairdresser, like trying to make me look bad when don't nobody pay my bills but me. So anyway, that don't got nothing to do with the price of butter. Um, but the other thing was character. So being your character isn't good. Like when you would, and I ain't gonna say intentionally, but intentionally not tell someone of your status, then your character ain't good. So I don't mind losing a friend with such character like hers. But not too long ago, I was going through a deep depression. I mean, I've been going through some stuff. And she called me. She called me. And although I think I was supposed to accept her with open arms, I'm a firm believer of taking friends back. I don't believe in really falling out with friends because y'all know we'll get a man and he'll dog us, he'll cheat on us, he'll do stuff, and we'll take him back. You get a woman, she dog you, she cheat on you, she do everything, but you'll take her back. So I feel like as a friend, friends make mistakes. People are people. Um, it's not a one-hitter quitter when it comes to a friend make a mistake. Now, depending on how bad the mistake is. So I'm not one of those people that just throw away a friendship if I love a person. But that girl called me around the time I was doing bad. I wish I could read it to y'all, but I'm on the phone. On the phone that the text message came in on. And she called me and I didn't answer. I wasn't answering the phone for nobody because I knew I wasn't in the right mind frame to even talk to people. And then she texted me. She said, hey, if you need me, I'm here. And my original response was thank you. Because that was just automatically, you know how you just automatically hit the response, the predictive response that they have. So my original response was thank you. And y'all, I don't know. I can't call it the Holy Spirit because I know I was wrong. Well, I wasn't wrong. I was just truthful. So I hit her back. I said, hey, you don't got to check on me no more. Y'all know I was hurt, right? But I said, you don't got to check on me no more. I said, character is everything to me. And then I explained. I said, you know, the things that you've done over the past couple of years, they're not a good character to me. And I don't mind leaving this friendship/relationship alone. And she was like, what are you talking about? Because I kind of explained to her what she had done. But she in denial, y'all. She well, I know you grieving now, so grief do crazy things. So I'm grieving because I told you I don't want to be with your character type. She was like, grief do crazy things. I said, no, grief don't do nothing. I said, HIV do crazy things. And I left it at that. Because it was just wrong. It was just totally wrong. But anyway, to be single or not to be single, this went a whole different way. This ain't even talking about single or not single no more. Yeah, I'm sorry. But anyway, I ain't want nothing, y'all. I was just wondering. I don't want to be single. So if that answers my question, I don't want to be single. Not for the rest of my time. As I'm getting older, and I only have 2 children too, and I don't have any grandkids yet. But as I'm getting older, it's like, who gonna be there for you? Like when you growing old and or who you gonna be with? Like, do you just grow old by yourself? I understand if I was married and widowed or something, but like, and then a lot of people say, you know, who waits till they get this old and want to be in a relationship? Well, I didn't train myself to be such a survivor and such a hustler, you know, to actually hustle in a good way, to make sure that my ends meet, make sure that my bills are paid, make sure that my kids are taken well care of, make sure we got food on the table, roof over our head, gas in the car. You know what I mean? I had to make sure. So I really had no time to actually put the energy into a relationship. I really didn't have the time for that. But now that I'm older, if y'all on here and y'all younger, don't waste your time on money. You know what I mean? Don't let the ideal of money and living and take place over actual relationships with your family, relationships with your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, relationships, friendships. Don't get so lost where making money and living is all that you do. Because one day you're going to open your eyes and you're going to be older. One day you're going to open your eyes and there's going to be no one there. Because that was what you did as you were growing up and you were trying to make a living for yourself. My house is paid off. My kids are adults. I live alone. You know what I'm saying? I did what I was supposed to do. Things happened like they were supposed to happen. But now that I'm here, it's like, what do you do? Anyway, I ain't going to keep y'all. To be single or not to be single. Y'all share this video so I can get some comments. I want to know. Look, they probably won't even talk about to be single or not to be single. They're going to be so busy talking about the girl with the HIV. And I told you, Channel Network already said everybody look like, y'all, I love these ranch sunflower seeds. But Channel Network said everybody looking like walking STDs. You remember when God healed that man from his blindness and he spit on that man's eyes and rubbed his eyes, and when he opened his eyes, God said, can you see? And he said, I see people that look like trees walking. That's what I think of when Channel Network says people look like walking STDs. Like, they don't even look like people no more. They just look like STDs, like herpes, AIDS, syphilis, herpes, syphilis, whatever else you can get. Yeah, everybody look like something now. You just look around and everybody look like something. Hey, I'm out of here. I'll talk to y'all later.